We hope to inspire community and growth and transparency and education and no judgment and a safe space to learn. That's exactly what we're trying to do, is you get more confident when you get onto set, hopefully because you have this knowledge.
Yeah. I don't want people saying, well, just never tell anyone where you went to school.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. We're supportive of all kinds of education.
We'll count it.
We've never counted backward before.
Oh, we haven't. You're right. I'm so sorry. Really threw you for a loop there, folks.
All right.
Apparently, I'm doing this transatlantic thing a lot. People are pointing it out to me as a quirk in my personality, and I'm not sure how to feel about it.
I love it.
Sing her in, boys. Like, just random. Don't keep this in, John, or I'll kill ya. Hi, Haley.
Hi, Indiana.
Cinematography for Actors podcast. We're here.
Hi, listeners.
We are so excited to see these numbers growing. It's kind of incredible.
It's amazing. Saying hi, listeners, isn't something I'm saying facetiously anymore or sarcastically. I'm like, actually, hi.
Yeah.
There are those of you who are listening, and I'm grateful for you.
Yeah, I know. And it's great to see them grow, like for the podcast and then also our events and maybe also in different markets, because we just wrapped up our first London event.
Cinematography for Actors went international.
We sure did. We went to thank you CVP for hosting us in your airy creative space in London.
Beautiful.
Great to welcome over 50 attendees, where we had a Q&A with Anna Goodbrands, who's been on this podcast, one of our best friends, who's a DP based in London, originally from Iceland. And then as well as the very talented Monica McCarthy and Alexandra Wright, who have both been on the podcast. So
you know them all.
You know literally everyone. And it was great to do a little Q&A as well. We haven't done one before.
I've never been on a panel before.
We were on a panel.
I didn't know how to do that.
Our own panel.
I said something at first. I was like, yeah, I got something to say. And then as I was talking to myself, I was like, you sound like an idiot. Shut up. Oh my God, shut up. Just like immediately started beating myself up. And my face was bright red. I blushed so hard.
Good thing I did some warm lighting that drowned you out a little in there.
No one could see, but I did quickly jump off of it. I was like, I can't. And then thank God someone took over.
Haley did a great job.
The second thing I said I'm very proud of.
What was the second thing?
When I talked about doing tests, partnering up with a DP and helping them with tests. That was great. And somebody cheered. Thank you so much for cheering.
I think one of the things we haven't talked about really, but we talk about it at the events, but for those who haven't been to one of our events, if you want to come, you should sign up to our mailing list, by the way. That's how we send out our invites. And we have some exciting ones coming up with hot rod cameras as well as Canon. So there's always stuff on the horizon for us. Anyway, back to it. One of the things we don't talk about on this podcast is how can DPs and actors work more together? And one of those ways, like Haley mentioned, is getting involved in lens tests. What does that mean, Haley?
So a lens test can be a test that's done, in preparation for production. But also sometimes there's new gear at a place and the DPs want to test it out and see how it works, and tests are free, so they just sign up for a time slot, but they need someone to come in because while they're testing the gear, either if it's just lenses and they're swapping them on and off of a body, they need a figure to stand in front of that lens for a few hours. And
or sit.
Yeah, or sit. I've usually been sitting. But the thing that I didn't know and didn't realize until, after doing it a few times with you, is that it's kind of a pain in the butt for DPs to find people who will be that person.
Yeah, because we're so used to doing it.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like actors finding someone to read with them, right? Like,
right.
Yes, like we're happy to do it, but you always feel a little bit like,
is this the best use of my time?
Yeah, well, and as the actor, you feel I'm always feeling a little bit guilty. I'm like, your time is valuable, and now I'm asking you to come read for my audition. You don't have an audition, and you have to come, and we're happy to do it for each other, but if the person you're not reading with is not ready, and that can get kind of, so everyone's a little bit apprehensive to ask, and everyone's a little bit apprehensive to help.
Okay.
So I think it's probably similar, like a bit of a parallel with DPs, helping DPs with lens tests.
Yeah, definitely.
But actors, one, we never do lens tests. We don't know how. We have no business being there, although I'm starting to disagree. We should be just like going to do lens tests.
I agree.
But this is a great way for us to, one, make a connection with someone who works on camera side. Make a connection, regardless, with a human being is great. And also a great way for us to learn. Yeah. Because during that lens test, you're going to have a ton of time to be sitting with the DP, asking them questions about, what is this lens? What is this lens called? What does this lens do? What does this make me look like? And they're probably going to be really happy to share that information with you. Because you're there doing them a huge favor. Yeah. And you're getting a lot out of it. You're getting so much out of it. Yeah, you're not going to get paid. It's not a SAG job, but it's a few hours out of your day where you're going to go hang out with someone who could become your friend, and you're also going to learn a lot of great stuff that you really can't learn anywhere else. The technical, remember, is a part of your craft, and that's what we're teaching. And so the free education you can get doing these tests. And how do you get involved in tests? Well, one of the big ways of getting involved is coming to our events and talking to people about it, because we're pushing it. And then another way is if you're new to an area like Los Angeles or New York or Chicago, Seattle, Portland, wherever that is, wherever you are, you can go to like film students or classes, like go to talk to new directors, go to talk to new DPs. And they are always going to be doing tests, because for their projects, it's probably required. But also they're going to want to learn that stuff because they're new to the industry. So get in on any level you can. But obviously, if you meet a DP or you meet a director or you meet someone crew level, you can say, hey, if you ever do any testing, like, let me know if you need help. Like, I'd love to sit in, or I'd love to, model for it, or whatever you need. I'm interested in learning it. And I think putting that out there is enough that even if it's not with that person, it'll be the next person that it's mentioned to through that person. So it could be like, our friend Brent put us in touch with someone, and it could be as easy as like, I don't need someone for a lens test. Thanks for letting me know. But like a week later, someone comes up to him and is like, hey, I'm doing a lens test. You want to sit in? He's like, no, but I have an actor for you. So I think I think that's one of the easiest ways of getting involved with DPs when asking yourself, what is the relationship between the DP and actor offset, which is great. And I think it can also help you learn to speak their language a little bit better. True. Very true. So that when you're on set and you have to communicate with them, you're not worried about, do I sound stupid? Which is something I always worry about. Imposter syndrome. Yeah. I know. It just helps kind of like, I get it, chip away at that imposter syndrome. The familiar terminology becomes more familiar. Yeah. Love that. So that's one of the ways, I think, a hot tip for this episode on how you can get involved further on your own with DPs and the relationship between actors and DPs. London was great. London was awesome because we got to hear from a lot of people that they're facing the same challenges that are happening in LA. Yeah, the markets are very similar. Yes. Yeah. Surprise, surprise. I did hear from a few people, and correct us in the comments if we're wrong. I did hear from a few people that it's even harder to network in London than it is LA. That's what I was hearing too. Yeah, that people are more like isolated and don't really want to share information as much. Yes, there's hate the word gatekeeping, but it sounds like it's even a little bit more gatekept. Yeah. My experience in Los Angeles is that everyone's been really welcoming. Yeah. Everyone's excited to get you out and to get you to meet people that they know. But that may not be totally the case all the time. Trying to change the UK that market. We would love to help change that. But also just the departmental events, like not even interdepartmental, which is something that we're trying to kind of create and craft. Just, departmental, an event that's just for DPs. They are also not as well attended.
Right. I've heard that. Yeah. So it's interesting because we're seeing where these gaps kind of are within the different markets, and do they exist? Do they not? And if so, how do they differ from each other? And so I think that's really great as we go into the next round of events that we're currently planning. And hopefully we are in a town near you one day. You can come meet us if you haven't already. I do want to give a little friendly shout out to Brock, who is an actor in Los Angeles, who came up to us at our first Zeiss event and was like, I've listened to all the episodes. And
Brock was our only listener.
It felt like it. It felt like it. Yeah. And so we just want to say thank you, Brock, for being there from the beginning as we grow our audience, because it kept us going, and it felt more like we were talking to you than it did just Haley and I in a booth together. So
we're Brock fans.
We're big Brock fans. Everybody cheer for Brock. If I don't know if our soundboard has it.
Let's see.
Nope.
Must be nice.
Okay.
But all right,
okay.
We'll just do that one.
That one works.
We're big Brock fans.
We are so grateful for people who are like on this wagon with
I know.
us.
So keep it going. We love our community and we love you guys. So if you have been a listener for one episode or for all 20, I don't know, 5 that we're at now by the time this comes out, please leave your name somewhere in the comments or DMs or anywhere and where you're from, because as we begin to curate these events and as we begin to continue to build this audience, we'd love to know who's involved with us from the start and on the journey. So thank you to all of our listeners.
Are we going to be doing shout outs regularly?
I guess. If you come up to us at an event.
Big buddy shout outs.
Yeah, we will. Big buddy.
We're going to shout out our big buddies.
I know. Okay, I'm going to say something controversial. Are you ready?
Okay, I hope we survive it.
Yeah. So when I first met Haley, I told a friend of mine, because she was teaching me how to roller skate, I told a friend of mine that I absolutely couldn't stand when she called me bud. Could not stand it. And I've never told her this, and I'm telling her for the first time on air. I legitimately hated it. Like, I love you now, and I love that you call people bud, and I'm so used to it that I would be sad to miss it. But you saying big buddy shout outs, I'm just like, for everyone hearing it for the first time, I'm like, you're gonna have haters and lovers of this.
Do you hate it still?
No,
Should
I don't.
I never do it again?
No.
I won't do it again if you hate it.
I know you won't, but I'm telling you, I'm used to it. No,
I feel like buddy is like the best, most like...
Haley's about to cry, you guys.
It really is. For me, that is like the most...
I know.
What is the word though? Like it's... what am I trying to say?
So
it is the most...
endearing?
Get there.
What's the... Describe it to me.
Like it's how you just show someone that
Love.
you adore them. It's
Okay.
like the most...
Sweet.
No.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to say. Thanks, bud. But yeah. good try, bud.
Well, let me just put this right here. If I have ever called you bud or buddy and you thought that I was trying to demean you, or if you didn't like it, I'm really fucking sorry. It's just like the best way that I can relate to something.
I know. But that's funny because I didn't say I hated it because it felt demeaning.
Okay.
I said I just hated it.
You don't like it.
And I hate a lot of things, so it's fine. But no, it was more just like I was so caught off guard every time you called me bud because no one calls me that. And so you just being like, hey, bud. And you're like...
You're like, I'm not your fucking bud.
I'm
a grown woman. I'm a CEO.
Yeah, and now I love it because it's such a Haley thing. Like, it's such a Haley thing, and it's one of my favorite things about you is that you call everybody bud. And so, yeah, big buddy shout outs.
That's the highest compliment I can give, is if I call you bud.
Yeah, exactly. So keep the buds coming.
Keep it coming.
Smoke them buds. Okay. Cut that out, John. So,
but keep it for promos.
Yeah.
We want everyone to know we party.
Yeah, thanks. We're cool. We can hang.
Our trip to London.
Sure.
First of all, we get on this plane. We're on the same flight. We just didn't happen to be sitting together.
Oh, God.
I have a beautiful, gorgeous aisle seat.
I have a middle.
C, row C. Indiana's in the middle. So I'm like, you know what? Just whoever's on the aisle, I'll just trade them aisles. Like they'll be it's aisle to aisle, it'll be fine. So also Indy wasn't feeling great. So I was like, I just want to not make her sit by a stranger, just we'll sit together. So Indy's also like, I don't want to be the one to ask though. So I'm like, I got it. I worked in customer service. Yeah. I can totally do it. I will disarm this person and so Indy sits down and then this woman comes up and I'm like, hey, I also have an aisle seat. Can I interest you in? And she said, no, I'm all right. Thank you.
Yeah,
she didn't even let me finish talking. She was
true,
like, no, I'm okay. And I was like, oh, okay. And I was just like really floored. I was like,
she came back. Haley came back and went, are you sure? I mean, I have an aisle. No, good. Thanks.
Yeah. I was
thanks.
like, it is an aisle seat. Nope. No, thank you. I'm good. And I was like, okay, first of all, I didn't ask if you were good. I asked if you would trade.
That was bad.
Because you might be good, but my friend is not, and I'm trying to.
It was bad.
So
it couldn't have gone worse. And then we had an 11-hour flight.
But we were right across the middle row, so
we
I
just kept looking at each other.
like standing up and looking over at Indiana, and she'd wave. But it was just astonishing. I mean, I don't know. So many reasons. This woman could have been anxious about flying and visualized herself in that seat, and that was the way she was going to be okay, and that's fine.
Yeah.
But she was so dismissive.
She was. It was not pleasant.
It wasn't the kind of interpersonal connection that I would have liked to have with a person that I was flying for 11 hours with.
I know. For 11 hours. It was long.
And you had to sit right next to.
I did.
Anyway, be kind to each other, interact well with each other.
Yeah.
So that was the flight.
Yeah.
And then we got off the flight and Indiana said, we have things to do. What are we doing in London?
I did. Because we booked London a few months ago. I'm a big believer of like, there's intention everywhere and that there's opportunity everywhere. Meaning, if I tell people we're going to London, we'll make things happen for ourselves. Luckily, that did happen because we had an event.
Yeah.
And we were able to meet some cool people and continue expanding. But we did go under the idea that under the knowing that there was absolutely nothing for us to actually be doing in London. But we just started telling people, hey, we're going to be in London. We're going to be in London and see what happened. And so when I landed, I was like, how did this happen? Here? What happened?
Because like in between the time we booked it and by the time we were there were things in LA that built up and built up. And we had so much that we needed to get done here in Los Angeles.
For CFA.
And we just were like, peace out. We're going to London for 10 days.
I know. So it was kind of hilarious. But then it was great to tour around with Cody and Monica and Alex and kind of get them on the podcast and do some limited kind of, more like exclusive London episodes.
Yeah, we have some cool episodes coming to you from that trip because they co-hosted with us.
I know. I love that. I love that I left you guys to do that.
Yeah, Indy's not even there for some of them. So it's going to be pretty fun.
I know.
There is one particularly unhinged episode that I can't wait to bring to you.
I know, because I haven't even heard it. So this is good.
There were too many people in the room, that's for sure. But it was fantastic.
Yeah. And one of the things I think I want to ask our audience listening is what kind of episodes do you want to see us do? Because we just got back from London. We did some great episodes that really touch into like stage and screen as well as kind of like the different markets. But going forward, Haley and I want to get back to basics and talk just the two of us about our roles in the industry and also the different maybe themes and topics we can explore. We've been very guest heavy and I want to figure out the next cinematography for actors chapter on the podcast. So what kind of things do you guys want to hear? Is it more about how to network, like tips, legitimate tips on networking? Is it resources? Is it certain roles? Is it how to get a manager? Is it acting classes? Is it events? Like, what is that? Yeah. And we will start to make that type of content.
More technical talk,
maybe. Yeah. Just something.
Discuss camera things.
Yeah, like a spelling bee on the way to work episode. Just like, how do you spell ISO?
But can you describe it in a sentence?
Yeah, exactly.
Or that's not what you say. What do you say in a spelling bee? Can you use it in a sentence?
Use it in a sentence. What's the origin?
Can you define the word?
Yeah, an origin, right?
Yeah. We could do that.
Great, we'll do that.
We'll do spelling bee.
Yep. So to stop us from doing that, give us some recommendations on what episodes you would like to hear. Maybe it's living in LA and what that means for a DP, because we've talked about it from an actor perspective, I think, from starting out.
Oh, yeah. We've done a lot of actor talk about what it means.
Yeah. So what does it mean for that world?
For a
Also,
DP?
grad school. Do you want to hear about AFI? Do you want to hear about USC? Do you want to hear about a specific program that you're trying to apply to? These are the things that, as we provide education and transparency in our industry, this can stem from any number of areas. So this is great. Yeah. That's one of my requests.
Please let us know.
Yeah.
Email us, slide into our DMs, comments. We look at it. Listen, we are a small company still, and yes, we look at everything. So
We do.
Please send it our way.
Don't hate too hard.
It will make me cry.
Yeah. And it will. I can attest. The one thing that I kind of want to talk about as a little bonus episode, and I think we should talk about this more with Sydney, even though Sydney has a lot to say, is dating within the field.
Oh.
I don't want this to become a dating podcast, but I think it's something that all of us, so our kind of close friend group is Haley, Sydney, who's the director we will have on, and then myself. And we're all going through a different series of dating at the moment in and outside of the industry. And so I think it's an interesting topic that we haven't really discussed, because working in film, you're so close to everybody and you have long hours and you're constantly trying to hone your craft and develop and expand. And a lot of that time, that means that a lot of the people in your life are coming from film as well. And does that mean romantic partners? A lot of the time, sometimes
it does.
Do you date on your sets?
You like a good showman?
Yeah, exactly. So do you like showmans? Are you trying to get away from that? I mean, I feel like there's a different iteration of that in our friends. So that's one of the things I thought might be interesting for us to kind of touch on that we haven't.
Different strokes for different folks, but we can tell you what our strokes are.
Yeah. What's your stroke, Haley?
I guess we'll see.
Oh,
I'm dating. Take that out. I'm not dating anybody.
See, okay, this is funny. So Haley just had us remove the term dating. And
way to sell me right up the river.
But it's true. I get it, because in Los Angeles, and I think a lot of bigger cities, how do you fucking describe anything anymore? Is it a situationship? Is it dating? Is it, I've learned a term if you've grown up in Southern California, hanging out. Hanging out means casually dating. So when a person says to you, I've enjoyed hanging out with you, that is apparently is casually dating now.
Yeah.
So, what's the term we're using?
It's terminology. We can go through the terminology. If you want to talk about going through the terminology of dating if you want to go through the terminology of dating within the industry,
we can do it.
Tell us.
Yeah.
We got
you.
So much to talk about.
We got so many terms.
We have especially a lot to talk about right now.
Yeah.
Because we're all little boy crazy at the moment.
Cut that out. We're not boy crazy. This whole episode is just going to be like, cut that out.
This episode is chaos.
This episode's choppy. Yeah, I think, okay, so dating in the industry, I want to talk about it because it is so important, because I've been stuck in the loop of dating people on set.
Mm-hmm.
And is it healthy? Is it not healthy? Depends on the person. But do we want to continue doing this in 2023? I don't know. It's a little complicated, especially because you feel so close to the people you work with on set. And so naturally you're like, wait, maybe that's like a romantic connection. But is it? Or is it just me being like, we've worked so many hours together and like this would just make sense.
Trenches
so this just makes sense. I can relate to you at a different level.
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of friends that have decided to altogether stop dating in the same industry.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding that they're fine. They're more fulfilled.
Whoa. I don't know. I mean, there are pluses and minuses. Like if you're dating someone in the industry, they understand the hours. You don't ever have to justify your commitment to your work.
But if you're not on the same set, and those hours can fuck with each other then, because you're both doing 2 12-hour different call times.
Mm-hmm. But the idea that they understand what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't have to apologize for like not getting off work at 8 p.m. when you thought you were going. You know, they understand that that's nothing you have control over.
Yeah.
So there are certain arguments that are probably eliminated. And then there are also cons.
Yeah. What are those cons?
Like if you're on different sets and you
Yeah,
have hours
exactly.
that fuck with each
Yeah,
other.
exactly. And also just you get home from work and you don't want to talk about work.
Mm,
What do you talk about then if the other person, that's what they do as well?
that's what you've got.
And all you do is work on set. Do you have
Yeah.
hobbies?
Probably not time for hobbies.
I know.
Only, like 4 hours on
Yeah.
Sunday.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little more about London.
Oh, shit. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Then we stayed with Anna.
Anna.
We stayed at Anna's place. That's what it felt like.
I know.
Anna's home is so cool. And
She's so
beautiful.
cool.
It's like this artist. I've never seen such an artisty space.
She's done everything too. She's really, really done a lot of different art,
Yeah.
like fields. You know what I mean? She is, if you haven't listened to that episode, Anna Goodbrands, she's fantastic. And you should definitely check out that episode. Yeah.
She has floor to ceiling windows with a beautiful view of London.
True.
Gorgeous view.
Yeah. And just like a great collection of different items from her journey, which is great.
Did you get a sore throat?
No. Did you?
Really? The whole time. I remembered, like as soon as we got there,
Yeah.
I got a sore throat. And I remembered, I remember the whole time I lived in London, I was fighting off a cold.
Oh.
I was sick from the moment I landed in London in 2014 until I moved home in 2017.
My God.
Yeah. And as soon as we got there, it was the same feeling. And I was going to Pret and like getting a ginger shot for my orange, the same old. And it also made me realize something.
What?
Whenever I tell people I used to live in London, they're like, "Oh my God, that's amazing. Did you love it?" And I'll be like, "Well, it was really hard." And I usually qualify that with being in bad company and, poverty. But I think I'm just not suited to London because even though we were doing really cool things, I was like, I cannot wait to get back to LA.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, it's just figuring out what city's right for you.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
That's really what it is.
Yeah. Because I grew up in Toronto and I have friends in Toronto who will never want to live anywhere else. And they grew up there. They will die there. But I mean, is it the same for LA people? Because we have our LA friends who grew up in LA and don't want to move anywhere else. So it's just like, how do you find what's suited to you kind of thing?
You just go a lot of places and see where you feel the best.
I also, one of the episodes I'm most looking forward to getting out to our audience is the one where you talk a little bit about your experience in London, because I think it's a really vulnerable moment and I think it's something that a lot of people need to hear about our industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'll come out.
That'll come out.
Keep an eye peeled for that one.
Yeah. Haley's not going to get a lawsuit about it.
No, I was very...
You were.
Tactful.
I think the longer I'm in this industry and the longer I hear about these horror stories with people who've taken advantage of other people, which you will come across in this industry, hopefully less and less over the years, but as we continue. But yeah, you'll find it and you'll start to question what you should be standing up for and what you shouldn't based on the trajectory of your career. And those are a lot of defining moments. And we've all kind of had our crosses with those and Haley as well. And so I am very vocal about it now.
We're going to figure it out.
Stay tuned for canceled people.
Canceled people doing bad things, not for much longer.
We've talked about consent, and we're starting to touch on the vulnerable moments.
Mm-hmm.
Those are defining moments when you stand up for yourself and how to know when to and how to.
Yes.
And that's a learning curve because doesn't matter who you are, what age, what gender, what your background is, you will probably come across people that, I mean, in life, but in film too, that think that they're allowed to say or do certain things because you're growing in this industry. And it's not okay and it's never going to be justified, their behavior.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that you need to be aware of and to say no to more, because we're changing together.
Mm-hmm.
And it's those that want to change together that will be stronger, getting rid of people like that and not allowing behavior like that.
Yeah.
You know, so whether you're an actor or a director or a young producer or a DP, there are so many different avenues of where that can happen, whether it be through vendors or rental houses or crew or people wanting to hire you, signing you on promises, things like that. And we are there to offer that support if that's ever something you need. I think
absolutely.
I think people who are new to this industry, even if you're listening to this and you've been in the industry 20 years, we're here. But I think if you don't have that person to talk to, we can always be that, because it happens more often than you think. And when it does happen, it can be really confusing. Because it doesn't, I'm not just talking about like sexual advances. I'm talking about character wrong, like mistakes in character and getting you involved in wrong things and one thing leading to the next. If it ever feels wrong, it probably is. And that's anything from the way weapons are handled on set to anything intimate. And so that is something that I think just needs to be said as we continue to have discussions like the one that we're releasing on the podcast.
Absolutely. And even something like people, if you feel like someone's using you for your ideas or for your input and they're not going to be willing to speak for you later on or credit you in any kind of way, that's also a form of abuse you can stand up to and say no thank you.
It is like a know your kind of worth thing where it's like you don't have to put up with that stuff anymore. You should never have had to, but there are people to support you in this industry and you will find those people along the way. And if you don't have that, Haley and I will always be here to support you.
Send us a DM.
Yeah.
We'll talk you through it. Hold your hand. Stand up for you.
Back to London?
Back to London. So we had a meeting at CVP with Camille.
Thank you, Camille.
God, thank you so much, Camille.
So great.
She had everything set up. She was like, you won't have to, we didn't have to lift a finger.
I know.
It was amazing. There was, everything we needed was there. There was no kind of like last minute panic of anything. She was like, everything's here. Everything's ready. And we really did just show up on the day. We showed up early in order to like help set things up. And we really didn't need to, which is amazing.
That's what we want to see. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Ellie and Erin were there to help us.
Thank you guys.
And they were great. Ellie was there the whole time, washing dishes and making sure that there were clean glasses for people to use and opening bottles of wine, facilitating everything, taking out the trash. It was so nice of her. She is truly
a gem,
a superstar. And I think by the time this comes out, we can congratulate her for her promotion at CVP.
Oh, yeah. She's managing that space
She's going to events now.
I love it.
Congratulations,
what a fun
Ellie.
job.
You deserve it.
Yeah.
It was such a pleasure having you be there to help us out.
I agree.
So big thank you to them. It was just fantastic. I was really excited at the event.
Okay.
Because there was a class of students there, a number of students from a course at the Royal Central School of Speech and Drama. They have a film program, and I just sent a bunch of cold emails to all of the schools to be like, we made this thing for your students if they want to come. And the director on that course got my email and realized that it was something that would benefit her students and sent them over. And so I'm really grateful for that. And it was really cool to meet those kids.
And they were just so sweet and in the right headspace. And I always say like showing up is the first step. And that's exactly what they did. They didn't know what they were walking into, but they just wanted to connect and learn and figure out what this was. And if you're listening to this, thank you so much for coming. It was so great to feel the enthusiasm and excitement. I think a lot of the time, the longer you work in this, the harder it is to have enthusiasm, especially if you're tired from new projects. But this was like a really beautiful way of getting reintroduced to our side of this industry.
Yeah.
You know, so thank you so much for coming and inspiring us just as much as I hope that we were able to spark new conversations with you.
Yeah.
I also will say we had one guest at that event that I wish we had asked to leave.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Which one?
Well,
Yeah.
I just want to say a PSA for those coming to our events. We hope to inspire community and growth and transparency and education and no judgment and a safe space to learn. That's exactly what we're trying to do. Is you get more confident when you get onto set, hopefully because you have this knowledge.
Yeah.
If you're going to attend our event, please respect that, because we had someone come who made fun of some of the actors that came that weren't from schools that were as reputable. And we also had them just be a little bit overall negative.
The whole time. Everyone who interacted with that person
Yes.
told us that it had been a negative interaction.
And what a waste of those people's 5 minutes during our Speed Connect session that they could have spent building a connection with people.
Yeah.
So we apologize that we didn't ask that person to leave, and we will do a better job in the future of making sure that everyone feels safe and secure and excited about the connections that they're making, because there's no point to what we're doing if that's what's happening.
It does not matter which school you went to.
Yeah.
There's a weird class system, I feel like, amongst, I don't know, schooling. And I feel it too. I feel, very insecure sometimes about my own education. I don't want that reinforced at our events. I don't want people saying, well, just never tell anyone where you went to school.
Yeah.
We're not doing that. We're supportive of all kinds of education.
Not only are we trying to break down some barriers between departments to have better understanding, but we're also trying to break down the barriers that withhold you from experiencing everything that this industry has to offer.
Yeah.
So just a PSA for those negative people out there that don't come to our events. Or if you do, come when you're ready to be positive.
Come when you're ready to be part of a supportive community.
I'm like a little aggressive today.
Supportive community.
Yeah.
And then we talked about this already, big podcast day. I'm very excited to get all of these episodes out to you. And also, Indy and I had a breakfast at a restaurant in Notting Hill. Let's find out what that restaurant was. Hold, please.
You mean in Camden?
No, not the little breakfast place. I'm talking about the one where they were serving this beautiful brunch. They didn't have a kitchen.
This is where we differ. I thought we were going to support the small business.
They're both small businesses.
Yeah, but one had an old man.
Let's talk about both. Indiana and I had 2 breakfasts that were phenomenal.
Yeah.
The first was brunch. We had, was it Sunday morning? We had a Sunday morning brunch. So you can imagine it was busy. It was on Portobello Road. So right, across the street from markets. Busy day. We went to this place called Lowry Baker. They were turning out 5-star brunches. They have, on Google, they have 1, 2, 3, 4.5 stars. This food was incredible. And they don't have a kitchen. Listen, guys. This place doesn't have a kitchen. They have a counter with a POS system. And behind the POS system, right behind it, is the 2 filter head espresso machine. Next to the POS, there's a little place to walk. And then next to the POS system, there's a counter that's 2 feet long. And that's where they were doing the plating. And then next to that, they had slid in a small stainless steel counter for someone to do the preparation.
Mm-hmm.
Behind that preparation was one small oven.
Yep.
They used to be two, it looked like, but one of them must have been broken because they were using the top one for storage of plastic containers. Next to the oven was a small sink, hand washing sink, in which dishes were continuously being cleaned because they had so many customers and they were making so much food. Someone had to clean the dishes all day. And then a drying rack, like a small, the one you would buy for your apartment, small drying rack. Mm-hmm. And then what was right next to it? Right next to it was the hot plate. 2-burner hot plate. Guys, this is a restaurant running, probably serving on a Sunday, 1,500 people.
No fucking way.
Yeah. On Portobello Road, I bet it's fit because they had tables inside and outside. And they're serving
I know. I'm just calling bullshit. No, it's probably like 300 people maximum.
No. Listen. On a Sunday, I bet it's 1,500 people.
Whatever you say. Haley
they
fucking
don't
loves
have
this
a
place.
kitchen.
She was impressed with the hot plate.
And the food was they were cooking on a hot plate.
I clogged the toilet by accident. It was a confession. I tried to unclog it.
Great. We are so sorry, Lowry and Baker. Please send us a bill for that plumber.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It just like their plumbing wasn't great. So I'm sure someone came in like an hour later and flushed it, but if there's 1,500 people, who knows? Maybe that's why I clogged. It wasn't me.
Yeah. Anyway, if you are in London, you're probably going to go to Portobello Market. So you should also go to Lowry and Baker.
Correct. You should also go to Chris's Kitchen in Camden, which is going to be the best breakfast of your life. If you want to love
Chris's Kitchen, it's also so inexpensive.
It is. It's like £3 for a breakfast. So you should do that. Yeah, no, it was amazing. Chris, who owns the restaurant, who doesn't know that I didn't know that we didn't talk to him, but it was definitely him.
We're big fans.
We're big fans of Chris.
At Chris's Kitchen in Camden.
An older couple that runs it and owns it. Very local, very inexpensive. So if you're on London on a budget, you'll probably go to Camden as well because it's like one of those artsy areas.
It feels like it's your grandparents making your food for you.
It does. And it's nothing fancy. It's like black coffee, it's beans, it's toast that's probably $1. Like it's nothing.
However,
but it's delicious.
The best latte I had in London.
True. Haley thought that they had accidentally put milk in my coffee. But
because the crema on top of her. So like for black coffee, it's not filter coffee. It's an Americano. So if you ask for black coffee, you'll get an Americano in the UK. And so the shot that he poured on top of Indiana's hot water was so creamy. Like the crema was so beautiful. I thought that he'd put milk. I thought he'd made 2 lattes.
Yeah. So you got to go to both those places if you're a breakfast freak like we are. And one is a little bit on the fancier side, not price-wise, but just like more la-ti-da. And then this one was very just like, I want to wake up and have my beans and tomato. And there it is. So
there it is.
Loved it. Hell yeah. Hit that shit up.
Yeah, those 2 are definitely going on my recommendations.
Yeah.
Something that came off of my recommendations, however, was Bread Street Kitchen.
No, I've never been there.
Gordon Ramsay's Bread Street Kitchen at One New Change near St. Paul's. That used to be one of my favorite spots to go to after I would drop the kids off at school in the morning and then hop over because I had to like get to them before I was ready for breakfast. And then I would just pop over to Bread Street Kitchen and have breakfast. Mm-hmm. It's not good anymore. It's kind of in a different place now. They like moved it upstairs in this little mall, and then they like broke it into 3 different restaurants. Now it's street pizza, street burgers, and then like Bread Street Kitchen, which is more like a loungy bar. Kinda.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, it wasn't great. They had like none of the options that I was excited about. So if I've told you to go to Bread Street Kitchen in the past, I apologize. It's been 5 years since I've been to London, so I didn't know what was going on over there.
I know. Wow, so there's probably
Abomination.
some people in this world that just think you're terrible
They're
at
like,
picking food.
why does she like that? I've like sent these to, I'm like, you're going to London? Oh my God. And send them my recommendations. You know where we didn't get to is Barber and Parlor and Electric Cinema. We
whatever.
never went.
Yeah, it's fine. Life goes on.
I like it. I did get to
goes on.
Dishoom 2 times.
You did?
Yeah.
You went alone.
I went with you guys to the one that was kind of lame.
Oh.
And then, I mean, the food was good, but it was like, the atmosphere wasn't what I was like gunning for. And then I went to the one in Shoreditch, which is the one that I love. It was rainy.
It was pouring.
It was cold. I saw a play. If you are in London, you should check out Women Beware the Devil.
Oh, yeah.
At the Almeida.
You liked it.
I liked it very much.
Okay.
I really, really liked it. It's also influenced my personal style.
Oh, how?
They were dressed, well, the costuming was very cool. Everyone was in like witch hunting outfits, kind of, you know.
As you do.
But then it got a little bit corsetier and a little bit grander as the show went on.
What are you wearing? Did you change something? Your personal style?
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't have the money to actually purchase the things.
I thought you meant like the way you wear things changed.
No, like my ideals.
Oh, okay, cool. Amazing.
I mean, like the things that I'm putting in shopping carts and then not buying.
You can borrow my leather vest anytime you want.
Great. Yeah, they were layering very modern looking bodices on top of
pirate shirts.
Like stiff, it wasn't like pirate flowy, but like thick brocade fabric, really beautiful. And then at one point the main character was wearing one of those big poofy headbands, that are in, but it was encrusted in diamonds. And then right in front of it, she was wearing another headband with pearls on it. Grand, just gorgeous, beautiful,
amazing.
Opulent, excessive. Definitely go see that if you want some like fashion for a minute. And the show was very good.
Oh,
too. I only had time for one show.
It's crazy.
While we were there, I was like, I'm gonna see a ton of shows, and that's the only one that I had time for. I didn't even get over to the South Bank. We were so busy.
We were. Yeah, it's weird how your schedule fills up, and we're hoping to come back. With to London. In order to do more events on the educational front, not just networking events, but some of the classes. So hopefully the next few that we do in LA leads to something where we can come back and greet the audience there again that we have. And there's just so many exciting things happening for cinematography for actors. And we are so happy that you have been a part of it for however many episodes or events you've been to with us. So thank you for participating in this journey we are on together.
Can't build a community without you guys.
Exactly. Thanks everyone for listening. We will see you next time on the Cinematography for Actors podcast.
Thanks guys. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.